recording as well. Okay, guys, welcome back. Let's complete this lecture now. So we were discussing about Central Asia, its position in this area, its significance historically. This region was a crossroad of different civilizations. The Chinese, they connected themselves with the rest of the world through this region. So basically, the same vision is now being applied in modern times. The Chinese are now connecting this region through BRI, OBOR, or New Silk Route initiatives. So this region has been always been a area where the major powers, they were trying to influence this region because of its location, because of its position. So even today, this region is very important, and this region is considered as grand chessboard. Why? Because huge amount of oil and gas resources are there. The position of this region is such that major powers, they try to control this region because of its location, because of its resources. So as I told you before, I gave you the reason that why major powers are involved in this region, because of the hydrocarbon resources. So in details, we also talked about the Russian, Chinese, Americans, Europeans, and the Pakistan and Indian interest in this region. Almost other than North Korea and Israel, all nuclear weapon states are involved in this region. So we also talked about this, its location, its position, and the population of this region is, significant. Not significant. It is very small population, which is about 70 million. But it's fine. It's not that big population where other countries attract themselves. But here, whenever any country try to interact with these countries, they target their resources, their oil and gas resources. Their economy is also not that good, but still it is sufficient for them. Central Asia is basically a very important region, and it is the crossroad of different civilizations, as I told you before. And now, in modern times, now the Chinese are now, in modern times, they are connecting themselves with the rest of the world. As you can see in this map, the yellow one will, the line show you the Chinese Silk Route trains, which originate from Beijing, and it connects the Central Asian states, especially Kazakhstan and then others. And from there, it connects Moscow, and from there, it goes to Europe. So basically, this is how the Chinese are now connecting themselves with through maritime routes, through land routes, through railway lines. So this is how they are connecting themselves in modern times. So this is New Silk Route initiative, and the previous Silk Route aimed at the supply of silk, lucrative silk, and which China used to trade with other countries. In modern times, Chinese connect themselves with different powers, with different countries throughout. So China is very much interested. Secondly, Trans-Siberian Railway also connects China all the way from Central Asia, and then it again connects Moscow, and from Moscow it even connects London. So such type of connectivities are there, and the Chinese are very much into it. Collectively, if you analyze, the 4% of the world's natural gas and 3% of the oil reserves are there in this region. And primarily, these resources are centered in Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. And Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan have potential for generating hydroelectric power, as I told you before. Pakistan, country like Pakistan, India, we are eager to get these things from this region. Especially Pakistan have signed hydroelectric power contract with Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan to get 1000 megawatt of electricity. So Kasa 1000 is the project which Pakistan is Pakistan has signed with these two countries. This region is also rich in huge, in uranium ore, which is present in Kazakhstan specifically, because they are the third largest producer of uranium, and the first two are Canada and Australia. So Pakistan can also approach Kazakhstan, because Pakistan is the only country in the region, in this region, which can provide these landlocked states access to maritime boundaries through Gwadar port and Karachi port and others. So there is quite interdependence between these two countries, Pakistan and Kazakhstan and Central Asian states. So Pakistan can provide these countries access to seas. Another epicenter of, or major focus of this region is Caspian Sea. As I told you before in the previous class as well, that Caspian Sea is a landlocked lake, but because of the huge amount of water body it is there, and its significance is such that five states it controls this region, as I told you before: the Russians, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and Azerbaijan. And it is important because of the oil and gas resources in this region. So as you can see in this map as well, the oil refineries, the natural gas fields in the red, dots, they are the natural gas field gas, and the oil fields are in the greenish part. So you can see that the huge amount of oil and gas fields are present in this region, and many countries they connect themselves with this region. So we have already covered that in the previous class. The Indians, definitely, I told you before that the Indians are very much interested in this region for economic purposes mainly, and for strategic purposes, they are involved in this region against Pakistan. But for economic purposes, they have got sizable, you can say, stakes in Kazakhstan, where the Indian company ONGC Videsh is involved in extracting resources from Kazakhstan's share in the Caspian Sea region. So India is involved there, and they are, they have got a lot of interest in this region. Secondly, the Indians are also looking for TAPI, which is a pipeline which is going to supply, gas, natural gas, 30, billion cubic meters of gas from, from Turkmenistan via Afghanistan, and then it is going to enter Pakistan, and from Pakistan it is going to enter India. It's a huge project. It's a $7.6 billion project. It's a huge project. But the problem is Afghanistan, because Afghanistan is unstable, and because of the instability, this pipeline is still in limbo. And these countries are now trying to build this and complete this in coming few years. India also wanted a base in Aini, which I told you before, and India was, spending a lot of money there. The idea was to station their MiG-29 bombers, and whenever it is used, whenever they require, they can carry out surgical strike in Pakistan from the rear, from the Afghanistan side, which is least expected area for Pakistan. So the idea was this, and the Indians wanted that base desperately, just to maintain pressure on Pakistan, but they could not get that because of the Russian influence. The Russians never wanted India to station their base, station their aircraft there. So this was the idea behind. India and China, they are rivals, as I told you before. But as far as China is concerned, China is very dominant country. China shares direct border with these countries, so they have obvious edge. Chinese have, you got about 3,000-kilometer border, which I told you before, and their investment is more than $46 billion, which is huge. So with such a huge, investment, India can never ever match, the Chinese ingress in this region. So Indian investment is not more than $500 million, but at the same time, the Chinese have invested more than $46 billion in the infrastructure development, in the oil and gas pipelines, in many other land routes. So this is something which is very much important for the Chinese point of view. So China is obviously a dominant power in this region, and India is nowhere close to China. As you can see in this map, you know, the oil and gas pipelines, the Kazakhstan-China pipeline, it originates from China, it enters Kazakhstan. And then you got, Turkmenistan-China pipeline, which again originates from China. It connects, Turkmenistan, and then from Uzbekistan, it enters the Caspian Sea region. So these are the Chinese interest in this region, and they are very much there. Then the I told you before, the U.S. and EU interest. This was the pipeline which America secured in 2005, and in 2005 this pipeline was completed. So this pipeline originated from Baku, which is the part of Azerbaijan, and Azerbaijan is not part of Central Asia. I told you before. So this pipeline was completed in 2005, and it is going to take the resources, gas or oil, from Baku to Azerbaijan, and from there it goes to Turkey. And from Turkey, it then goes to European countries. It has also got many offshoots, which goes all the way from Georgia and from Black Sea, and from the Russians it enters Europe. Then, so the Americans and the EU, they are also eyeing, aspiring for oil and gas resources. Pakistan interest, we have already discussed that Pakistan is also very much interested in this for a number of reasons. One, trade. Pakistan would love to, trade with these countries, which are, 70 million population, and Pakistan can, get benefit of that. Secondly, Pakistan is the only country in the region which can provide these states a connectivity with Samandar, with sea, Arabian Sea. So Pakistan is very much, helpful to these countries, and we have got very close ties with these states, especially Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and these states, and Pakistan is very much close to them. So, and they have also got dependence on Pakistan, because we are located in such a position that no country can bypass us. For example, if India want to have interaction with these states, it has to go through Pakistan. It is, the other routes are, very long and difficult. Secondly, if Iran want to have interaction with India, it has to go through Pakistan. Send relations, if they want to have interaction with India, it has to go through Pakistan. For example, TAPI, it is going to originate a gas pipeline from Turkmenistan, Daulatabad gas field. It is going to enter Afghanistan. From Afghanistan, it is going to enter Pakistan, and from there, it is going to connect New Delhi. So these are the Pakistan interests. Thirdly, Pakistan is also growing fastly. For example, Pakistan is eyeing for 8,000 megawatt of energy from uranium, from nuclear, by 2030. So we are aiming for expanding, Pakistani nuclear program. So at the same time, when you are expanding your nuclear program, you would love to have uranium, and Kazakhstan, which is definitely dependent on Pakistan, can provide these resources to Pakistan as well. And we have, offered them close connectivity with Gwadar, which is there on the mouth of Arabian Sea, deepest seaport in the region, very important, area, and which is going to connect not only, Pakistan with China, but also with the rest of the regions and other countries, like for example, Central Asian powers, like for example, Iran, like for example, Saudis and the other countries from this region. They have always, or, they are also invested a lot of money in Gwadar, because they believe this region, Gwadar port, when it is, going to complete, when it is going to achieve its full potential, which is about 400 million annual ton, this would be the most important port in the region, which is going to connect all these, four regions. For example, China, East Asia, then you got South Asia, Pakistan, India, वगैरह जितने भी मुल्क हैं. Then you got Central Asia through Afghanistan, and then you got fourth region, Middle East, through Iran and other countries. So this is how Pakistan is located, and Pakistan is going to provide Central Asia a shortest connectivity to sea. So guys, this is all from my side. If you got any question, you can ask now, please. Thank you very much.
Sir,
Yes, my dear.
sir,